What's up, everybody? I'm Randy with Academia Christi, here with another episode of the Viri Christi Garden Blog, episode 11. This is May the 23rd. It's been well over a week since the last garden blog. And also, I'm going to do this a little differently, just as a bonus. One last thing I should note before I get started is that, and you might be able to see this guy. Well, I will eat this pepper at the end of the vlog today, so that will also be a treat. But anyway, this is Garden Blog, episode 11. Hope you enjoy. Well, there hasn't been a whole lot going on here recently in past episodes, but there is a little more now going on. The first thing to note is our beautiful tomatoes coming up, all but our back two here that we should probably just replant, I think. That's the green zebra and the margalobe. Yes. And those are almost a month old now. In fact, I would like to get some of these out. Some of them, I don't know what's going on. Got some seed leaves coming off. I don't know if I should maybe fertilize them now, but I am hoping to get them out in their big pots. I'm going to put them in soon, and I will fertilize them then. So hopefully they'll be okay until that point. Got the rack here empty, other than of course our herbs that are drying at the top now. More importantly perhaps is this new addition here. Finally got a bunch of melon seeds and more little peat pot things or whatever to start them in, so I can just put it straight into the ground, because cute cucurbits, melons, squash, all that family doesn't really like to be transplanted. So we're doing this. These little jiffy pots, they started as like a little pellet, put them in water, soaked up. So easy, so nice. So we have just 3 Haley's Best Cantaloupe, because we already had some of those started outside. Have 6 Honeydew, Green Globe, something like that. We have 8 Crimson Sweet Watermelon. We also have Sugar Baby, 8 Sugar Baby Watermelon. And then finally we have 5 Yellow Canary melons, which I'm very excited to try. That's all the melons. Over here we have a bunch of cucumbers. We have 5 more Market More. Again, they're all the ones that we had already started outside. So 5 Market More. Those are the tender green. Here we have our Boston pickling, and that would be the Space Master. I have 2 other types. I have Bay Alpha, and I also have the Straight 8, which I'm going to do a lot of too, but a lot of those might go in the ground. But these just got planted today. Super excited to see how they come up. All right, one of the older plants we have, the cucumber. I mean, it's certainly seen better days. I've neglected this a lot because whenever things started going outside, I was outside, and my laziness prevented me from coming in and doing anything to these most of the time. But as you can see, this cucumber, which was directly planted, directly sown right here, this one was transplanted a while ago. And also, if we zoom in enough, we may just have a cucumber sighting. Yes, there is a very small, perhaps inch-long cucumber that's slowly filling up. I don't know if I should let the whole thing fill up or maybe just pick it soon. Clearly it's not going to serve much purpose, but this cucumber is pretty much shot anyway. You can see, I mean, how much nicer than that. I guess you would have had to watch most of the vlogs to see how that progressed to this point, but I'll just tell you that this one looks much better. I just started training this one up this way. I don't know exactly what I'll have it do. I could maybe even put something on the outside to help it trellis. It's already starting to do its thing. The dill, I have not cut back for probably a week, honestly. I wanted to show also, I didn't cut it back today because I wanted to just show how nice and I would say vigorous it is. And that is also, I think, relative to the beginning of its life. If you would look in like a professional nursery or something, the dill would look much better than that. It'd be a nice bushy thing. But I mean, I'm getting quite a bit of dill from this thing, so I am not going to complain at all. Okay, so outside now, rhubarb looking nice. As always, it's been cut back substantially. We've eaten quite a bit of it. I tried it for the first time and I loved it. In fact, it'll be cut back a little further today. My grandmother is coming here and she will be taking some fresh, so that's nice. Cut it back just a bit further. There's actually this stalk up here that I chopped off because it was flowers, but then I read that you should actually rip the whole thing out like you would any other stalk, and so that's probably going to be one that we do. There's the chopped stalk there, and it's hollow in there, and I've come to realize that it's those hollow ones that are where the flowers are going to come out from. A look at our mustard. This is Green Wave, which is exactly what it looks like. Amazing. I just realized there's one of these prickly guys right there. There's a couple right here. I would say almost some of these, well, this definitely still needs to be thinned out a lot. But some of these leaves are getting pretty decent size that I would even consider throwing them in a salad. Let's see what it tastes like. Let's thin it out. How about that? Let's thin it out, and that means we'll probably get a pretty young leaf in here, because we'll take one of these small ones. Pull that guy out. Okay. Nice. A few decent sized leaves. I don't really need that one. Those. That's not bad at all. There underneath these massive rhubarb leaves, you can maybe see our old-fashioned mustard. Obviously not going to come in as well because the rhubarb. There's probably enough here that I wouldn't mind snagging out one of these guys. Oh, there's a very tiny one there. Great. It's like four nice size leaves there. I mean, again, they're baby leaves. They're obviously not mature. These may not even be mature yet. Probably have a little ways to go. It looks like, I don't know what that is eating them. But anyway. It's almost a little sweeter, just less mild maybe than the Green Wave. I really like that. I like both of them. A good combination between the good variety, I should say. Got another pointy guy here, right next to our champion radishes. But as you can see, they're doing their thing. Got a hole here. This place is getting overgrown in here. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I still have some onions doing their thing. They're really hard to see because they've been butchered by perhaps what's ever living here. Whatever is living here. Here's one onion. There's one that's probably gonna end up coming up somewhat. And between all of these radishes were our celery transplants that didn't do anything. I actually have more celery. I might put them back in here because there will be the same amount, maybe even more if I do them correctly this time. I was thinking about doing carrot seeds, which is what's on the other side over here with those radishes, because these are all radishes on both sides that are coming up. And then the onions in the middle. Okay, so there's a few onions. There's one here, one there. So maybe 4 or 5 coming up. We do have more that we bought, so I'll just put those probably in where the others were to fill them in. They look really nice. You can see down in there. I mean, they just look amazing. I hope I can get the whole thing out. That's the whole thing. I guess that was enough of it. Not massive, but I guess that's the reason you want to thin them out, because that's all you'll end up getting. Tiny little guy. Down the hatch, I suppose. That's pretty good. Actually, that's really good. A patch of strawberries, wild strawberries. I just want them to take over this spot is all. I don't really care about what comes up. There you can see our, what is, I guess, becoming compost. What do you think about that beautiful little path? I'm going to have to cut through that. Um, I'd like to make a little area back there. You can hear the geese very well down there most of the day. Right now I don't know what they're doing. Out here, though, in the giant grassy area, we have where all the grapes and all the apples will be. So here's one of the grapes. It's nice to see all this new growth here. I don't really like how this branch is against this other one, especially because there's a leaf node right there. These are the seedless Concord grapes. This one, I think it's coming up pretty nicely too, I would say. A little better with the branching out. In fact, I don't think it was even this far spread apart before, so I like how it's kind of opening, this one's opening itself up. Has a lot of leaf nodes starting right around the base here. Here's our Ruby Macintosh that actually is being pollinated currently by this nice looking little bee. Hi, little bee. I want to let these apples kind of just do their thing, but I did just watch a really, really instructive video today about the need and how to properly prune your trees back, especially when they're smaller. I really like the look of these flowers, really beautiful flowers. This one, a Honey Crisp, which is apparently super, super popular. Not surprising, the apples are amazing. It was already flowering when I brought it out here. It's been out here maybe almost a week, and now that I learned a little bit about what apples and other fruit trees should look like, I'm very concerned about this one because of this branch. There's double branching going on right here, and also the fact that they're going off, both off that way. We don't have one nice one sort of coming straight up. Come in for another close-up because, again, apple flowers are so, they just are so nice, right? I love them. You can just get them just for this purpose, I would think. I came back to this one for a second because I wanted to look now again at the structure that this one has going on. This one has this nice one dominant lead branch here. Love this. Has a lot of little tiny guys here. I don't know about all that. Has a few nice ones coming off too here. Two here I like. There's a few more here and then up here too. It has a ton of branches already that are making a nice, will make a nice, I think, canopy in the end. Anyway, this tree structurally much better than the Honeycrisp, I would say, for sure. I wanted to show finally over here these raspberries. This guy is massive. I would imagine it would really like to go into the ground. I should do it at some point. It's going to go way in the back there where we saw that wild strawberry patch. In fact, I would like the wild strawberries to take over and grow as ground cover for these guys. He's hanging out. Maybe you can see it has some flowers already forming here. And we have this one too. A few flowers also, I think, forming on those. Just a few. We have these growing wildly on the corner of this weedy area, which I've cut back a bit so you can actually get around. You could even use another cutting, I would say. But again, as you can see, a lot of flower buds. They look a lot the same as the other one. Some of these stalks so big, I can't even get them all on camera. This one in particular, these two in the back. So I try to maybe bring this one down. I can't even. It's a pretty sturdy guy. I don't want to hurt him too much, but look at how nice and massive that thing is. I know it doesn't look all that great at the top, but again, big flowers forming. We always get a lot of blackberries, I think they're blackberries off of these, so I know they're going to come without even taking care of them. They've come back like crazy every year. So got a lot of plants from the nursery still here that haven't been, nothing's been done with them. Massive bee just fell off of this thing down there. Sydney's found a bug. I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna kill it. Marigolds, tons of marigolds still. Maybe 2 on each fruit tree. That would probably be good. They're also self-seeding, and so I guess the goal would just be to have a nice marigold patch the whole way around eventually. It might only take a year or 2 to actually get to that point. Over here, more of our nursery plants. This is a bunch of wormwood that should probably go somewhere other than right where the dog can get it. She doesn't seem to have any interest in any vegetation whatsoever though, even the good stuff. Got more lavender. That's this crimson phlox, moss phlox stuff. Got some stuff here already planted up, of course. It's been there for a bit. Here's this red basil I have. It's not honestly looking that great. It has some decent growth actually in there. Has some nice new growth. There's really, you know, not a ton in there. Smells amazing. And then more flowers. Excitingly, more marigolds too. They're really the only ones I care a whole lot about. Speaking of lavender, that's down here. This is my lavender. You can see the similarities, right? Yes, it's like the same thing. Here is a marjoram. The top cutting from one that we had in the hydroponic system inside. Rooted it in water, came up really nicely here. I really like the way it's looking with all these very, very tiny nodes. Every single leaf has another node coming out, just like my other one we'll see in a little bit. Here we have all these seed started parsleys and marjoram. I'm not super happy with them, to be honest. They did everything, pretty much everything just got a shot of that Miracle Grow all-purpose fertilizer. So maybe these will pick up, I'm hoping soon even, because again, that stuff's supposed to work immediately. They're all growing. You can see all this new growth on the parsleys. Parsley's so hardy. Marjoram, I mean, it's stringy, but it's gonna do its thing. Check out what's going on here now. Most of the lemongrass is still left. It's actually not looking amazing. To me, it doesn't look great, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so whatever. Here's the onions. You can see there's 4 trays of them, which have 4 each. These are candy onions instead of the, I just have yellow Spanish. I think these are also yellow Spanish sweet onions, right? Or just some type of sweet onions like the yellow Spanish, I believe are. I'm not a big onion guy. Potatoes. You can see this one is doing fantastic, or at least relative to the rest, because I don't think any of them are really doing that amazing. This area looks kind of good, all in all. Those are some really nice smelling and very strong flowers. All right, and now we will back off to these strawberries, but first I will show you this one, which came just out of there. This is one of the everbearing. It's the red flowered everbearing. You can see, because of my neglect, it has itself a couple strawberries on it. In fact, now that I found some clippers to use, I'll probably clip them all off, as much as I hate to do it. These are Toscanas. This one actually might be an everbearing. It's hard to tell. I think that's a red flower. The Toscanas have pink flowers. This is one of the red everbearing. Anywho, these Toscanas I think are June bearing ones. They look pretty nice too, I think. I wanted a bit of a variety. But you can never have too many strawberries. I certainly don't think you can. We plan to put most of these in the same patch all together and just let them go crazy. Just a massive strawberry patch is the goal. And over here are the rest of the strawberries, and also, of course, this basil. Our nursery bought sweet basil, which looks much better than anything we did. Yeah, again, breaking all of the strawberry rolls here, because they may be in their second year. I'm assuming they're just in their first year though. And I bought some that already had runners. This one has a big runner on it too. I should probably put in something, but I used them all. I took all the runners. In fact, some of these are probably planted up enough that I can snip them this that one, and this one here. And of course, like I said, I'm neglecting pinching off all the flowers, so we almost have our first strawberry, and I'll eat that one on camera too. I know that's going to be a rough one. That's going to be like, it's going to be like Fear Factor level drama. These, of course, mostly just little herbs we have here. Is actually, this is our arugula. All we have really going now is the arugula. We had a bib lettuce here, failed. This guy might be done. I topped it right here. Never mind, it looks like it's leafing up again a little bit. One here, one here. But I'd top it right here because it had started to flower. It has another leaf node down here at the bottom. So that's decent, that's decent. Over here, this one is just actually, this one's beautiful. It's come up really, really nicely. It didn't have as many issues as this one, even though this one was by itself most of the time. I don't know what happened. It was maybe because it grew too fast and it wasn't outside yet. I should plant lettuce in here soon. There's no reason not to. These really need trimmed up a little bit too. This was one of the things I was most looking to trim, just because it's kind of been sitting like this a while. These were just the recent transplants out of that smaller little container. Here's just 2 parsley in a bigger container than that, where there's 4. You can see just how nice. It should be a lot nicer. This is that tomato, that Marglobe I've been growing for a while. Has a new little leaf started. This one looks horrid. Let's see what happens. This may be the best of the basils though. Not positive. Of mine, I should say. Looks pretty nice. I like that growth. Nice and stocky, which the other ones aren't. And finally, here's that marjoram. We saw the top of it earlier. There's where the cut was. Basically topped it. It was getting very leggy. That top was going nuts. It was nice and bushy, and then it had this long top on it, so I just chopped that. You can see, again, just like the other one, all these beautiful little nodes everywhere. I still have some decently high hopes for this thing, even though the outer leaves don't look wonderful. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be all right. Here is where we had nothing in this spot. This is the dill that transplanted out of one of those small containers. Well, very, very small pots. We'll just take that out because it's done. This cilantro, same thing. Burn it to a crisp. It just couldn't come back. It's a little bit too much neglect. I'm gonna plant more herbs though in these corners. I'm gonna do what I had. I'm gonna do the dill back here again. Do some cilantro here. Maybe I'll do more basil, since all my basil is terrible. I also have some more basil inside that's pretty small that could even be transplanted into here. And our actual, probably the best herbs that we have so far, other than the basil that we've done. That other parsley looks a lot nicer. I don't know what's going on with this parsley. This needs to be cut off because it just looks terrible. It has nice, I mean, it has some new growth. I shouldn't say it's nice, but 2 small ones both coming up. Pretty quick succession there for those. Although they were there about last week. So I don't know what's taking so long for that. Dill, I think the dill here is picking up. I think it's established itself nicely. And 2 sweet basils. This one was the one I had labeled as Genovese basil. This one is the one I had labeled as large Italian. This guy has sent his growth down into leaf nodes between these leaves, and that looks to be what's happening with both of them. I would really like to see that. And now it's finally pepper time. Before we do it, here are those peanuts. I should actually have another bag pot of peanuts. I still haven't done them, but these peanuts are actually not looking terrible. I came out yesterday, I wasn't too sure about them, but today something's changed. I did also fertilize these. They're looking decent. They're looking not bad. Over here we have our Aleppo chili and our Hungarian black that were in those little tiny pots, and they look funny right now, but I think the reason they're so small is because they were in those small cups, and now they're in these very large containers, and I'm hoping it'll just go, yes, boom, fill it out, and hopefully we'll have some nice big peppers, because I don't want to lose this Hungarian black, because it looked really nice. It's been losing a lot of leaves, but it still looks okay. In fact, right here, I can see some leaf growth, just like on those basil. Here's the Aleppo. It doesn't, I'm not sure. Yes, it does have some leaf nodes growing down here, so that's nice to see. Here, the Hungarian black, looking pretty nice. It has itself 6 leaves if we want to count this very little guy. But I can see very clearly both of these leaves have new leaf nodes going on, where the leaves were, I should say, have new leaf nodes starting. And that was, of course, happening in the cup. But it's because they've been, like other things, everything else mainly, has now been moved outside. Its permanent home is outside. Back ourselves up a little bit. Check out our bonsai chili experiment peppers here. This is the Ring of Fire, the only one we have from the 16th of March there. The latest of the peppers we put in. All of these I think are looking decent. Out of all the peppers, they're some of the better ones I think I have. Ring of Fire, that's like a little cayenne, baby version of a cayenne pepper. So good for bonsais because it's going to be small fruits, you know, will be good for our very small peppers. But these 3 here, these are our fish peppers. Here's the latest of them. You can see those, some of our peppers have these white spots on them, and that's not right. But I think the ones on the fish are supposed to be there. Again, I think they are looking pretty decent. Not extremely leggy, like a lot of the other stuff we have. It's not perfect, but it's certainly not the worst. Certainly not the worst peppers either. These are all, and these, all the ones in the bigger cups, bigger, wider looking cups, plus here, are all my jalapenos that I had rooting in water. We saw the habaneros rooting in water. These are the jalapenos that did root in water. Now they're in here. They actually don't look terrible. Some of them, in fact, look better than some of the other jalapenos that they came from, where they were cut from. Here, 2 and these 3 are the cayennes. Not looking as great, but there are some that are, I mean, this one's probably the best. It's not so bad. But now you can see, like, these leaves are pretty white. Some leaves are, like, basically white colored. Here's the 4 sage that we were able to get out of the seed starting units. They are actually looking pretty decent. I'm not mad about that at all. These might be some of the better herbs we have. Other than the basil, these might be some of our best. They beat all the seeds, and I should say these are the best seed started ones out of those little seed starting units. The sage are probably the best ones. We saw the parsley and the marjoram over there. These beat all those out, I would say. And the lavender. The lavender, one of those looks pretty decent. Those sage are awesome. This is the pepper brand experiment. This is the Serrano that has been struggling for a very long time. It actually might end up, has another leaf on there. So it might, I don't know, who knows. Maybe it'll come back. What else am I going to do with it? So it's sitting here. Anyway, these are the ones from March the 2nd in the very small cups. You can see, oh no, looks like it may have failed. It's not looking good. That is Rebel Gardens. I'm not liking how that looks at all. I have Rebel Gardens, I have Serenaseed, I have Sustainable Sprout, and I have Nature Zedge, or Nature Zedge. Those are the 4 brands, all from Amazon, probably just small companies. I'm going to see which one works the best in any case. And they, of course, like everything else, this was the main thing I wanted to fertilize, so they got it. Hopefully some of them will be saved. There's definitely some that don't look bad. All 3 of these lines here are from the 9th of March, and those ones over here are the 16th of March, those last 3 rows. I really like those habaneros. That's this middle row here. Nicest habanero I have is right there. That is Nature's Edge there. This one's decent too here. Cayenne probably, yeah, it's a cayenne from the 9th. These are all cayennes from the 9th. They're not so bad. Everything else from the 16th, not too happy about, other than the habaneros. I really neglected those. If you watched that around that time of the garden vlog, you saw how those were going. They were in the seed starting kit unit just a bit too long. Here is, well, these 2 down here are those extremely old peppers back from like the beginning of December or whatever that I did. This one is the cayenne. That one's the serrano. They had some flowers forming on them recently. I can actually see this cayenne flower very clearly now. Nothing for the serrano. Again, we've been nurturing these for months at this point, very long time. Up here, have 8 California Wonders. I planted more because I definitely need more sweet peppers. These are some of the best looking peppers I have that I've done myself. I'm really happy about them. But again, I have like these leaves turning white, so hopefully the fertilizer will help take care of that. They've lost a few. This one, not looking amazing. Some of the other ones looking decent though. Here, from the nursery, we got these banana peppers. I didn't have any banana pepper seeds, so I figured this would be easier than just finding some somewhere. These look gorgeous compared to mine. There's just no comparison. Some of those might go in pots. I think 1 or 2 of them should be potted. Some will go in the ground probably. And finally, for out here, are 4 hydroponic peppers, the second batch of hydroponic peppers. So yeah, in the front here, in the 2 pots that are the same size, the medium ones, those are our poblanos or our ancho chilies. They're all looking about the same, I would say. I'm not super happy about this. Is the Anaheim chili back here in the small one. And I'm really not happy about these leaves. This happened recently. It's been looking the best out of the 4. By far, it's been looking the best. Still does, I suppose, but I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully the fertilizer helps out. This is finally this is the hot wax, Hungarian yellow hot wax. So like a banana pepper, but hot. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming up. Up here at the top of the canopy, see some, well, there were some nice flowers there. I topped it. So all in all though, these are getting relatively older, so I'm hoping that they're gonna start growing pretty vigorously. You can see again nice leaf nodes all over because they're out here now outdoors, just getting much more sun, much more warmth, all that kind of stuff. And we return now to the porch. Oh, look at that rosemary. Now that is a proper looking, well, not really proper looking. It looks a lot like the lavenders I have outside. Grab this basil here. Still looking okay. I should probably water it before it goes too far. This is the one I could transplant out into that bigger container. Over there we have the chives. I'm not going to get too close up on those. They look like chives. They look exactly like they've been looking. Our other new celery starting, and I'm going to try not to let this die. In fact, I think we're almost at half germination already with this. Usually when you grow apple seeds from the seeds you get in the store, the apple trees you're going to get aren't very good. So it usually is just a waste of, honestly, years to find out. But I really don't care. We have tons of space. But if I actually get apple trees to grow, I'll stick them in the ground somewhere. We'll see what happens. Over here, we have our beautiful Nature's Edge cayennes Gen 2, taken from the first pepper that I had grow successfully, in fruit, I should say. 2, 4, 6, 7 very, very, if I do say so myself, lovely looking peppers, lovely specimens. And they may all end up in the ground, but I'm just happy that I'm going to have even more cayenne peppers. Here, next to those, are our new Nature's Edge jalapenos Generation 2. These were just done today, as you can see. All of these were just done today, so we'll just get a look at them. Got half Jimmy Nardellos and half California Wonders. These are the ones I said I needed more sweet peppers. There they are. Over here we have half plum. This is yellow plum, and half Napa grape hybrids. Tomatoes, of course. Over here we have 4 super sweet hybrid cherry tomatoes. We have 4, I assume, heirloom, I'm hoping heirloom, large red cherry tomatoes. And these are heirloom Chadwick cherries. And I'm really focusing with everything else. It's like all these fruiting things, right? So that's kind of my goal. Things that I can, whether you have your bigger fruits that you sell $1 each, or you have your smaller fruits that you pack up for $1 each. That's kind of, I think, what I want to go for my market. Lastly, yes, of course, as I was saying, more cherries is what I wanted. So I didn't do any more super sweet, but we will get to those. We will get more super sweet. I think I ran out of plum, and I ran out of the cherry, which is why there's only these last 3 here are the cherry tomatoes, because I'm out. All these are Chadwick cherries, which I'm sure will be just as good. All these things starting, all these seed starting units. This soil, this seed starting mix was that stuff that nothing grew in, but the lettuce apparently. So I'm not super happy about that. I do though have this, which is going to be full of lettuce, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. Rest of our peanuts, which I have again also neglected. We only have, if I can get 3 more out of here, I would be happy. Now, first off, we had all these zucchini, 3 zucchini in the middle here. And then we have 6 cantaloupe running on the back. And these are our cucumbers. And we have 2 of each type that we saw inside. The Space Master Marketmore, Boston Pickling, and the Tender Green Burpless. So yeah, those are all redone because I failed all the other ones. I wanted to reuse the peat pots because they're still good. Here we have the first round of these burpee peppers that I got. Jimmy Nardellos, our cherries, pepperoncinis, which are coming up, all 4 of them. Real nice. And we do have that one Jimmy Nardello there. That's the sweet pepper. The pepperoncinis, that's Greek pepperoncinis, not the Italian ones, if they're whatever the difference is. They are also pretty sweet, I think. They're very, very mild, put it that way. Our other final peppers that we have in the seed starting thing, we have, this was the 12th. And this is, again, another pepper brand experiment attempt because the other ones are really not doing that well. There you go, habanero, jalapeno, cayenne in the middle. We have 1 jalapeno coming up. Actually, what is that? That is the Serenaseed jalapeno that's come up first and the newest and last of the pepper brand experiment unit. And now I'm super excited to show you all of my new tomatoes coming up. Look at these guys. Got yellow plum, brandywine red, and large cherry. These were all burpee tomatoes. Almost a full germination. 3 in each, is that what that is? Yeah, 3 in each. Here we have black crim, beefsteak, and Cherokee purples. 3 Cherokee purple and 2 of the others. Oh, there's actually 3 beefsteak coming up as well. So we got Romas, we've got our Marglobes, and some Amish paste. 2 each except 3 Marglobe. And finally, for the tomatoes here, we have our Chadwick cherry, Napa grape, and super sweet. So our other cherry types, the Chadwick, Yeah, these are all burpee as well. These are all burpee type varieties, I should say. All of the Napa grapes came up. 3 of the Chadwick and the super sweet. That's why I planted more over there, and I'm super excited to see those come up too. Probably going to be just as good, I hope. And now for the grand finales, starting off with our most lovely jalapeno, the one in the pot by itself, the only single one. It's been fertilized, and you can't really tell. I could get in a little closer. Maybe I will do just that. But there are new flower buds toward the top of this growth, and I am so excited about it. We haven't had any jalapenos on here growing since that very first batch that just finished. And some of those, I believe that one back there, I believe this is one of them, this bigger one, has some flowers successfully starting. And most of the time, I would have them just die off almost immediately. I would see little brown nubs of flowers there before they even had a chance. But now there are actually new flowers here. Our pot of 3 cayenne peppers. And I'm going to start with these 2 tiny guys. Now this one was actually the biggest. These 2 got cut back early on because I overreacted, I believe, to what may have been some nutrient burn, and I think I cut way too much off. So they struggled, but they're still going. We'll get to those in a second. This one, after it was done, it was kind of an experiment of mine to see what would happen if I just chopped everything off of it. And it was nothing at all except for a nub. Had no little leaves at all. It was just a stump. And look at it now. Just look at it now. I mean, this thing's gonna be popping. Here, to this little one, I recently, I think it was after the last vlog, cut off, actually maybe it wasn't, one branch I had coming up here because it had no growth. It had like a couple leaves left on it. So again, I wanted to focus and get the plant to focus its growth on what are actually two pollinated flowers. Those are two cayenne. And also, you will notice, look at that bushy growth down there. I'm really loving how that looks. Again, I didn't have any of this happening on any of the peppers during the rest of their lives when they were growing indoors. And as soon as I saw this kind of stuff happening on those other peppers, I knew that I should move everything outside. But also I should add, because we're here now, the other reason these peppers are all outside on the porch now, I was only going to move that one over yonder out here, but then I broke my light. The light's okay, 4-pronged, nice one. The light itself was okay, but I broke the mechanism to hold the tripod legs in place. But anyway, finally, here is our last cayenne. Look at that branch. It's happening the same way the other one did. That nub we have down there on the bottom left was doing the same thing when it was growing. It focused on one branch. Yes, but again, look at that. 2 cayenne peppers growing very nicely on here. I'm very excited about that, and it's just going crazy with flowers, flowering like nuts. We might have a lot of cayenne coming off of this one in the near future. That's what I want to see. And finally, the moment some of you may have been waiting for if you are only watching to see me burn my face off, but it's only a jalapeno. Come on, not going to be that bad. First, we have this one. It already had one that came off, and now that I know that they will grow back, even after they're done, if I fertilize correctly and everything goes according to plan, it will flower again. But I could really cut this thing back, I think, and try to bring the growth down to the bottom, make it a stockier plant, and see how that goes. Because again, a lot of this is going to be experimental. So finally, here we go. We got again, as all the other ones, coming up nicely. Again, once I get this pepper off, which is right now, maybe even cut this one down with the one in the back, cut them both down to a nice stockier plant, and see what that does. Do something a little different on each of them, just so I can see what works best. All these new leaf nodes, all I've been seeing are those little dead brown flowers in there. So hopefully this one that'll change soon. All right, and so let's snap off this guy. Don't need to be too dainty. It'll be just fine. Good. So this was the one last pepper that we have right now growing, at least for now. Look at that guy. That's a decent, over 2 inches, I would say. Probably going on 2.5 inches there. All right. And this is all going to go into the mouth. No drink either. No drink. All I see. There we go. Swallowed too early. Actually, really good. It's big, which is why I gotta watch with I have a terrible mouth, teeth. I'll watch just like chomp on stuff, but that tasted very, yeah. Tasted very veggie-like. I was not expecting that. This is actually extremely good, and not nearly as hot as I expected it, because I did have some other of my jalapenos that I would say were a bit spicier than that. And that one was like fully red, and I thought those were supposed to be spicier. They also taste, I guess, what do they say, fruitier? I'm not really sure. That sweeter and spicier. However you make that work. But yeah, that one was not so bad. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So hey, thank you for watching episode 11 of the Viri Christi garden vlog. I do have a video of my very first cayenne pepper fruiting. Me picking it. Actually, I don't know if I picked it live or not, but then I ate it live-ish. I didn't put the video out yet, but I have it between YouTube and Rumble. If I can get 50 people subscribed/followed, then I will post that video of me eating that first cayenne pepper. But anyway, I will hopefully see you. This is Tuesday. I will hopefully see you next Monday. 6-day break. Try to get this, like I said, back to Friday or Thursday garden vlog. But anyway, I will see you then. God bless. Peace.